Hi, today's theme is a glimpse of hope. And this is our series on Eve, part 5, from Genesis chapter 3, verse 20. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Maybe you recall hearing about that before. I shared Genesis 3:20 before during our introduction as we started our series, but I'd like to expand on that more today. You remember how God punished the serpent, and then he cursed the woman and said, "In great sorrow you're going to bear children and raise them." And then how the woman's desire would be for a husband and the husband would rule over her. Well, Adam also received a curse from God. The easy life that he had before when he named all the trees and the animals and everything was just perfect, that all changed now. Now even the ground was going to be hard to till. He had to work hard. And as the plants would grow up, they wouldn't grow up easily because the weeds would come and make it a hard time. Even Adam at the end of his life, he would just die and go back to dust again. Well, I love to garden myself. Before, when I lived near Chicago, I never did it. But when I moved to Wisconsin and established a home there, I set up a garden. Every year, I would work in that garden. But the thing I hated most were the weeds. Now, understand that garden that I had was near my friend's home. It was a nice big area, 30 feet by 30 feet. Nice area. But because it wasn't near my home, I wouldn't go there every day. I went there every 2 or 3 days. And it seems like every time I went there, I had so many weeds to take care of, I just couldn't keep up with it. I felt so overwhelmed. I'd spray chemicals on it and think that would do the trick, but still there's just so many frustrations with that. So I decided at my own home to set up an above-ground garden, one of those raised gardens. But you know what? The weeds were still there. I still had to pull them. It's not like it was back before sin. Well, so we've got the 3 curses that God pronounced. So Adam and Eve, they look at each other, and Adam decided, I'm going to name my wife Eve. But you realize that's the first time that name appears in the Bible. Previous to this, every time his wife was referred to, it's just called woman. But now Adam decides to name her Eve. And that's the promise that God gave to Eve, that your seed would bruise the head of the serpent. And Eve knew that, and that's why Adam called her the mother of all living. Now here, this was a terrible situation. The whole world was plunged into sin, such a chaos. The life was nothing like it was before when it was perfect. But now when he named her Eve, that became the glimpse of hope. They had faith in God, because through her seed, they knew what would happen. We'll talk about that seed, so come back and watch tomorrow, please.